All right, Johnny Murray here, and today we're going to talk about the Summer Games Fest 2025. This is my review slash recap, just talk about it generally. But anyway, I've done the Xbox Game Showcase, I've done the State of Play. Now it's time for the Summer Games Fest. Just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I thought this was an okay show. I thought it was okay. It didn't blow my socks off. It didn't get me jumping out of my seat a lot. There was one moment it did. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that moment. But for the most part, in terms of an actual show, I thought it was just genuinely okay. I didn't think it was bad. Don't get that twisted. But for me, there was just a lot of games I thought looked interesting. And a lot of games I was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll play it. But there was nothing I was like, oh, this is now one of my most anticipated games. Like, yes, this is an S tier announcement. There weren't a lot of that, and honestly, that goes for the whole week. I forgot to mention in my State of Play review. I did it during my Xbox review, but genuinely, after adding in everything that we've saw over the last week, there's not a lot that are in my top 2 tiers of excitement. There is a lot in the bottom 3 tiers, which are still tiers that I'm excited for, so don't get that twisted. I do my anticipated games by tiers, but I think there were very few games that are ended up becoming some of my most anticipated things. I just think there were a lot that I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see more, or okay, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of promise there, but I'm waiting to be sold on it, or there's a lot of things I'm like maybe. So just take that into consideration. But for the most part, I thought this was a good show at the most, with a couple of really nice announcements. So we're going to get into all that, but it doesn't matter what you guys love, PlayStation, Xbox, third-party, PC, Nintendo, Indie, VR, whatever it may be, consider subscribing, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support you guys give me, especially supporting this video right here. But without further ado, man, let's get into it. And I'm just going to go straight into it. Resident Evil Requiem, otherwise known as Resident Evil 9. Oh, we did it. It's finally here. All the leaks, all the rumors, all the smoke, all the fire, all the reports, everything. I see them ingrained in my skull. Every week we would go through a new wave of those, and it's finally here. And honestly, it looks even better than I thought. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I was like, oh wow, no Leon, huh? Okay, we're not exactly confirmed third person here. Okay, we're going the environment looks a lot different. The trailer was super weird in a certain way, but after rewatching trailer and just sinking in, being like, yeah, this is Resident Evil 9. I'm like, oh man, this looks incredible. And now at the time of recording this, we've now gone through all the previews that this game has gotten. There have been playtest demos that have been played by a bunch of content creators. And it's sounding immaculate. It's sounding so immaculate. It's sounding like everything we wanted. It has been confirmed that you can go first and third person, that there is going to be another main character. Wow, wonder who that could be. We're returning to Raccoon City after the nuke. Man, there is just this is going to be so good. And we're hearing that it is genuinely horror. They are full sending the horror side of this thing. And I couldn't be happier, because Resident Evil, in my opinion, is its best when it goes full horror. And I'm just so down for it. It is in my top 5 most anticipated games right now. If it wasn't for sequels to some of my favorite things of all time, this would be number 1. So for me, this honestly made the whole show. Without this announcement, to me, it would have really just been a whatever show. But for me, Resident Evil really just took it home, and I couldn't be more excited. So definitely looking forward to it. And by the way, I love the name Requiem. What a tagline, man. This is absolutely awesome. The next thing that we saw here that I'm just gonna go and talk about, gotta get my goats out the way. Capcom showing up twice during the show. Once with Resident Evil Requiem, and another with Onimusha. We saw some more gameplay for Onimusha Way of the Sword. This game continues to look freaking phenomenal. Give me this game now. Give me this game now. I'm ready to just... Oh, man, I'm just ready to go crazy on this game. It looks so fire. But what we did see this time in this trailer, the production on this looks insane. The cinematography looks insane, man. every time we see this, I continue to be more and more impressed, which is crazy because we've seen this honestly quite a few times at this point, maybe even like 4 times. So I really thought Onimusha would be the February game because we've seen so much of it. I figured it'd be coming out a little sooner, but no, Resident Evil February, boom. Awesome little surprise there. I love when games get announced and instantly have a release date, and we don't have to wait that long. I just love that. Like, could we just do that more often, please, people? Like, come on. Resident Evil out there killing it. Onimusha out here killing it. Great showing from both of those. Great showing from Capcom all week long, honestly. Pragmata looked great. Yeah, just so many great stuff. The next thing we're going to talk about, Dying Light the Beast got a release date for August. I am so excited for this. Love Dying Light. I love Dying Light. Dying Light is one of my favorite, like, honestly, franchises. And Dying Light 2, I absolutely adore. I really enjoyed Dying Light 1. Not as much as Dying Light 2, but Dying Light the Beast, I'm going to say right now, I think is going to be the best one. Like, everything we're seeing about this looks awesome. Like, I think the atmosphere, the characters, the story, the gameplay, just everything looks like it's, like, outdoing itself, honestly. The weapons, just everything. I am over the moon about this game, and I'm glad we have a release date because I'm looking forward to it so much. The next game we're going to talk about is Jurassic World Evolution 3. Look, I said there were very few games that reached my, like, top tier, most anticipated level that got announced here. The only 2 that made it in my top tier, granted, Onimusha and Dying Light are both here, but those were announced previously. I'm talking about new things that are announced that reached my top tier. There were only 2 games, one of them being Resident Evil and the other being Jurassic World Evolution 3. How did we get to this point? Well, I am Johnny Murr, and if you guys don't know, I love Park Builders. Planet Coaster is one of my favorite games of all time, and Jurassic World Evolution is another game I absolutely love. It's made by the same studio, basically same idea, just one of them is a theme park, one of them is a dinosaur park. So, I'm so hyped for this. I'm really excited to see all the new additions and new things that they implement. I love already some of the things that we saw during that trailer. Yeah, I'm just hyped. I'm just hyped to get back into this series and sink a bunch of hours into it. I'm just so ready. One of my favorite memories of, like, late high school is waking up, like, at 2 a.m. to play Jurassic World Evolution 2 before school, try and get some hours in before school. Just had an absolute blast streaming it, like, at 3 a.m. in the morning. Absolutely loved it. Such great memories. But yeah, just so happy that this was a thing. The next game we're going to talk about, Mafia, was shown here again. Continues to look awesome. I'm continued to be absolutely ready for it. Another thing that they showed was Mixtape. Mixtape was here, which is weird because I thought it'd be at the Xbox show, but it was actually here at Summer Games Fest. Man, this game is looking special. I'm not even gonna lie with you. I think Mixtape might be one of them ones. Mixtape might be one of them indie games. Like, I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. I'm gonna keep it a stack. This game looks special. Low key, like, we play Fantasy Critic. Me and my friends, we do this, like, fantasy football thing, but video games wise. Austin has Mixtape on his team, and I'm not gonna lie, that might be a sleeper pick. That might be a sleeper pick. That game might have the sauce. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see. So yeah, Mixtape looks really, really great. It did not get a release date, actually, which is so weird. It just said coming soon, I think, which is really weird. Like, I thought for sure we would get a release date, but guess not. All right. The next thing we are going to talk about is Stranger Than Heaven. We got our trailer for that, and what this game was previously known as Project Sentry. This is from Ryuga Gotoku RGG, a studio behind Yakuza or Like a Dragon, and this is their new IP, I guess. I actually think this looked really great. I honestly am very excited for this. I'm very much looking forward to it. I do want to see more on it just before I'm, like, completely sold on it, but I think, honestly, from everything I've saw, this is definitely probably the most intrigued or interested I've been in an RGG game in a long time. I'm not gonna lie with you. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I love the theory crafting everyone's doing. I've been seeing a lot of that on X, and I just love that. That like always excites me over games, like all the theory crafting over Resident Evil, all the theory crafting over Stranger Than Heaven, like has really like just been so fun to see. The very first time we saw this game, Project Century, the trailer was based in 1915, I do believe. And then in this trailer, they showed 1945, which is really interesting. Like, I wonder why we jumped. And so some of the theories are like, we're going to be playing a guy who is either immortal, who gets to live out throughout a whole century, but like as his prime self. I think that is really interesting. So we're going to be jumping through all these different time periods and stuff like that. Or we are going to be just not immortal, but we just get to live out a whole century as a guy, which I think that's really cool. And it would make sense. For me, it would make more sense if he was immortal, because the whole idea is Stranger Than Heaven. Obviously, after you die, you go to heaven, if that's what you believe. And so the fact that if he's immortal, he doesn't die, right? So Stranger Than Heaven, Project Century, like, hey, I'm just saying, bro, the theories of this game are running wild, and I absolutely love it. It just excites the crap out of me. But anyway, another game we saw I was pleasantly surprised with was Lego Voyagers. I thought this game looked very cool. I really like the idea, which is kind of like a Human Fall Flat, but meets Lego, where you have to kind of like work together with a friend to like solve puzzles and get across places and stuff, but it's all Lego. I thought the idea and the concept for this looked really, really cool. And it's just one of those things I'm just glad it's a thing. Whether I end up like really enjoying it or even playing it, I'm just glad it was a thing. It was definitely a standout though. So I can say that. Chronicles Medieval. This is a game I think has potential, because this is like a full-on, full-scale war game, but it's medieval, and it's not an RTS. Can y'all believe it? It's not an RTS. Like, it's actually a third-person, like, just full-scale medieval war game. Low-key, goes hard. I'm hoping it, you know, it's actually good, though, so that's always a problem with those kind of games. Honestly, this is a weird one to talk about, because if you would have told me that we were getting this game, I would have been like, whatever. When I first saw the trailer at the show, I was like, okay, it looks pretty good, but I'm still, you know, don't really care that much. And that's because I wasn't the biggest fan of the first one, and that is Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart 2 was announced here at Summer Games Fest. But I'm not going to lie, the more I've watched and the more that I've sat on it and the more I've heard people talk about it, we've seen sequels just completely make a game 10 times better. And from what I've saw, it could very well do that. And honestly, Mundfish, the publisher behind this stuff, they showed a lot here at Summer Games Fest. And I thought everything that they showed looked kind of neat to a certain degree. So for me, I do low-key have my eye on Atomic Heart 2. I'm not like completely sold on it just because I didn't really like the first one. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't planning on playing it, or if I wasn't kind of excited, because I do think it looks really good. So I just got to say how it is. But yeah, Atomic Heart 2 got a crazy trailer, man. Got an absolutely crazy trailer. Next one, Mouse PI for Hire. This is a like Doom, kind of like a first-person game, kind of like Doom, but it's completely like, it looks like a Mickey Mouse cartoon. That's pretty much exactly what it is. I continue to think this game looks really fun and really cool. I just want this game to have a release date. I want to play it already. Come on, stop showing me it. We've seen it too many times. Let's go. The next game. By the way, I forgot to mention this in the state of play, so I'll just go ahead and mention it right now. Baby Steps, what was shown during the state of play. I think that game looks fun. Like it's just gonna be a fun, stupid game. I'm looking forward to it. But Mortal Shell 2 was also announced. There was a lot of unexpected sequels during the show. A lot of them I don't really care about, like the original, or I wasn't like the biggest fan of the original. But it's just nice to see that a lot of these games are getting sequels, and Mortal Shell is one of them. This is like a heavy metal Souls game kind of, and I think what they showed here looks really solid. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on it. I'll probably end up playing it, but it's not one I'm like over the moon about, but it definitely looks interesting. Blighted was shown at this game, or at the show. I think that game looks really cool. It is supposedly going to be a kind of like a Hades-like, but it is a roguelike mixed with a Metroidvania, but it's a Souls game pretty much. Like, from what I've heard, it plays like a Souls game in terms of like progression and how difficult it is, but it does have systems like Metroidvania and roguelike. It just sounds like a collage of incredible things, so maybe it'll end up being incredible. The Cube. This is another game published by Mundfish, and this takes place in the Atomic Heart universe. They basically announced this whole MMORPG. I thought it'd just be kind of like a battle royale type thing, but no, it's just straight up MMORPG. Kind of curious, not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep that one on my radar. Mio something memories. I don't know. This is like a weird 2D side scroller Metroidvania game where you're playing as this like little robot with like a ball head, and he has like these like yellow hair things like coming out of him, and it just looks kind of like Ori mixed with like not Hollow Knight, or just kind of like Ori in a way. I think this game looks neat. I definitely don't know like how excited I am, but it'll be something where, you know, if it comes out on PS Plus, Game Pass, if it's like $20 or so, I'll definitely check it out for sure. I typically love a lot of these smaller indie or just like small games, especially when they're Metroidvanias, because I love Metroidvanias. So I'll probably check this one out. Scott Pilgrim EX. This is another game made by the Team NT Shredder's Revenge, also now the Marvel Cosmic Invasion team. Really cool to see this IP come back. I don't really have any attachments or connection to this franchise. Like, I just don't really know what it is or why it's loved. But I'm glad seeing it back, and anything from the studio I'm going to play because I absolutely love their games. So I'm at least just glad that, hey, we're getting another game after Cosmic Invasion so soon already. So really down for that. Another thing that we saw is ILL. ILL. This game looks too good to be true, to be honest with you, which is why I'm not really that excited for it yet, because what we saw looks scary, looks clean, looks smooth, looks really interesting. But that's exactly the problem, because it just came out of nowhere and it looks that good. So I have question marks. How long is it going to be? How expansive is it going to be? How actually polished? How is it going to run? I have all of these questions about it. So I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I would be lying if I said I didn't think it looked somewhat good, because it did look good. So we'll just have to wait and see. Out of Words is another game, kind of like another It Takes Two. This one reminded me of Unravel. If you guys ever played that EA game where you basically, it's like a side scroller, but you play as two little yarn people, and you can play with a friend, and you have to kind of soft pause. It has like a claymation art style to it. I thought that game looked really neat. Wu-Tang finally showed their upcoming game called Rise of the Deceiver. Kind of looks like Hi-Fi Rush. I think it looks pretty interesting. Again, want to see more. A lot of these games I want to see more. I'm not completely sold on, but I think look cool, look interesting. Same thing goes for Acts of Blood. This is a game that looks like Sifu, but it's made by one person, and it looks a little bit different. It looks more actiony rather than like kind of like Soulsy kind of. So, you know, have my eye on that as well. There was one game that was shown during the Future Game Show that I'm just going to shove in here because I'm not doing a whole review on the Future Game Show. That was The Expanse, something Osiris. The Expanse Osiris Reborn. I think this game has potential. We'll see, though. You know, you just never know the credibility behind some of these studios or publishers, so I'm not like jumping ahead of myself saying that this is definitely going to be a banger, but it looks really cool, given a lot of Mass Effect vibes and stuff like that, so putting that out there. But for the most part, those were all the big takeaways for me from Summer Games Fest. I was expecting to see a little bit more. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting some bigger announcements. I mean, outside of Resident Evil 9, because obviously that's huge. But for the most part, though, I thought it was an enjoyable show. I enjoyed my time with it. I'll look forward to next year's. And there were definitely some bangers here. But, yeah, overall, solid show. But anyway, let me know what y'all think down below. What were some of your highlights? I'd love to talk about it. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Morale.